Good evening and welcome to the February 12th meeting of the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Culture Board. We will begin with, I hereby call this meeting to order, but we'll begin with a roll call.
All right. Mr. Corbett.
Here.
Mr. Tips.
Here.
Mrs. Meyer.
Here.
Mrs. Fulcher.
Here.
Mrs. Heaton.
Here.
Great, thank you, Jackie. And you have before you the agenda for this evening, and after you've taken a moment to look at it, I will accept the motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. That would have been a first. You also have before you the minutes from our January 8th meeting. And thank you, Jackie, for putting those together and sending them to us. Again, I will also, like the agenda, I will accept a motion to accept the minutes if there are no changes. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
That passes. Thank you very much. So, first item on our agenda tonight is our annual report, which you all have a copy of. Is it Aaron going to talk to us a little bit about that? A little bit. Great.
Good evening. So every February, we like to report our annual report on the previous year. So this will review information from the Parks, Recreation, and Culture Division activities for 2018. I will present on the Recreation side and Senior Center, and then Zach will come up and present on the Parks projects. We are going to jump right in. So I wanted to give you a preview.
Awesome.
So we'll start with accomplishments in 2018, and these all relate back to the goals that we set going into 2018. So we were able to utilize Latino Plaza and the CI Beaver Hall spaces for public programs and various organization meetings, as well as facility rentals as well. You see a lot of numbers up there on that screen, and I should mention that everything I'll go over in the slides tonight is also in the annual report that's in front of you in more detail. But you'll see that we utilized CI Beaver Hall 221 days in 2018, and we actually, that's less than the days that we utilized it in 2017. Some of that is due to the fact that we had some flooding and had to move some things out of CI Beaver Hall. And I also suspect that, or know that some of that is because we moved some things over to Latino Plaza. But Latino Plaza, essentially, this was the first year of operation, full year, for the Latino Plaza multipurpose room and meeting room spaces, and we were able to utilize those both over 200 days. And I've also got the hours of actual use that happened in there as well. We were also able to put on our first Arbor Day celebration in cooperation with the Tree Advisory Board back in April. And the Parks, Recreation, and Culture Advisory Board brought back the volunteer recognition event. So those were two great accomplishments that we were able to do thanks to our volunteer groups that we have. We also formed a new partnership with the Beavercreek branch of the Greene County Public Library, and we had a little bit of an aggressive schedule, I think, for our first year, but the library has a great team. We did 3 family-oriented nature programs, 1 per quarter, with our final winter one is actually coming up that we set back in 2018. It's coming up in the end of the week. But these each have a read, explore, and create component. So that includes Parks and Recreation staff as well as a Beavercreek library staff member. And then we did monthly adult programs during the warmer months in April through October. And we also had the library come and do story time visits out at our summer camp programs. So you see a few photos there of our programs with the library. We also offered a new specialty day camp program. We offered 7 weeks of that this summer. And we were excited to do that and excited to see that program grow for 2019 as well. And we always are trying to cover our special events with sponsorship dollars, and we covered most of our event costs. Our summer kickoff and fishing derby, as well as moving the park, were covered in full thanks to generous sponsors throughout our community. 4th of July was nearly covered in full. We were just short about $600. And our summer concert series wasn't really covered in full this year. We'll work to improve that for the future. We do that 8 weeks in a row in the summer, and that cost really starts to total up. We'd love to see one sponsor per week would be ideal for that program. I picked out a few things to highlight or bring to your attention. Our party in your parks, I know that's something that the park board has been interested in, have been doing very well. This graph shows you 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018 attendance. It really peaked in 2017, but we still did very well with about 218 people at 4 different Party in Your Park events in 2018. We believe, or I believe, that spike in attendance happened in 2017 when we started, at your suggestion, planning the Party in Your Parks around the parks that were going to have improvements at them, using them as a forum for public feedback and getting their opinion in the neighborhood about what kind of things they wanted to see with those improvements coming in their parks. Our summer concert series attendance has been rising consistently. I will say these are estimates for the summer concert series. This is our staff member trying their best at the peak of the concert to count the people along the hillside. However, even if you count for some errors in counting, we have different people counting each summer, we still see a drastic increase in attendance from 2015 all the way through 2018. So I think that is notable as well. You see a kid rolling down the hill there. And this is not as much of a highlight as a bring to your attention. We've talked about adult softball in the past, and adult softball registration is still declining in Beavercreek annually. The blue line on the top is the number of summer softball teams, and the orangish line on the bottom is the fall softball teams. So we offer less leagues. We always have less in the fall. But what we're looking at is that downward trend. We did pick up 2 teams in the fall between 2017 and 2018. I don't think that is extraordinary. You generally still see that downward trend, especially with the summer numbers decreasing. Moving in to our goals for 2019, we are going to send quarterly surveys for our programs and classes so that we can better make improvements on those offerings. We would like to increase our special event donations to cover 90% of our event costs overall. 100 would be even better, but a good goal we think is 90. And then we also want to increase our specialty day camp and traditional day camp registration by 10%. There's definitely room to grow in that specialty day camp program, and a little bit of room to grow in the traditional camp program as well. In addition, we'd like to increase the rentals at CI Beaver Hall by 10%. We'd like to increase the total hours reserved at Latino Plaza and CI Beaver Hall by 25%. We've got lots of room to increase, especially over at Latino Plaza. And we would like to work with the Parks Advisory Board to hold at least 2 meetings with volunteer or partner groups. And that is a goal that's come from you all as the Parks Board. Any questions on those recreation and special event programs before I move into the senior center?
Keep going.
Okay. So the senior center accomplishments, we've made some changes in the transportation program. You hear us report on the transportation program. It's a great program with all with volunteer drivers and escorts who help the drivers and the riders. So we purchased and trained staff and volunteers on new transportation software late in 2018. That has been a big change to our internal processes, and we're excited about it, but it's been a big change for us, and I think it will really improve our efficiency. And oh yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So what, that software, is that just a scheduling software?
Yeah, it schedules all of the riders on all of the vans. It knows how long it takes using Google Maps and to go from point A to point B, and factors in lunch breaks for the drivers and creates the most efficient schedule on the vans. Having volunteer schedulers also, it's going to help. It has been helping them out a lot too, because sometimes we might run into a schedule that a driver had that didn't actually work the way it was supposed to, and we would get delayed.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
Thank you.
Yeah. We also reviewed our transportation program. Really, I should have put that first before getting this new software. But we also reviewed our current level of volunteering. We always need new volunteers, and we continue to recruit those, and we had 5 new volunteers start in 2018 in just the transportation program.
No special license required for those drivers?
No special license, nope. Also in 2018, we received a grant from Greene County Council on Aging to purchase accessible door opener for the fitness room. So that's been very helpful. And then we also installed an additional automated switch for our front door. So helping people who need some help getting those doors open, going in and out, or people who are trying to bring in heavy loads and donations and supplies and equipment into the senior center. We're always adding programs over at the senior center. We added 2 new fitness classes, 4 programs with outside vendors, and 6 new one-and-done type events where it's a one-time little, we don't call it quite a special event because of the size of it, but small program that people could sign up for. Some highlights for the senior center. This is the annual attendance from 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018. The top line is we have 2 attendance methods at the senior center. When people enter the center, they scan in with their membership card using our registration system. And that is the bottom line, the kind of orangish line, is the number of total scans into the senior center for the year. The top is our tally marks. So in addition to scanning in, right now they also have a tally sheet on the front desk that lists all the activities going on for the day. And people can put a tally mark. Okay, I'm going to lunch, I'm going to this special event, and I'm going to play bingo. So that is what shows kind of the different activity attendance, because we don't necessarily take registration for bingo, for example. But that way we have some idea of who's attending and how many people. So that's that higher line. So you'll see that that's higher because people can do multiple things on their visit to the center where they only scanned in one time. What you'll see is activity attendance, the annual attendance of just coming to the senior center is going up from year to year. You look like you have a question.
I'm trying to formulate it. How many days a year is the senior center closed? I know that's
Yeah, every Sunday and holidays, and I believe
Sundays. It's closed on Sundays.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that I have as a side note in the annual report, I think, the number of days I divided it by to do. There's a daily attendance.
That's what I was getting at in my head. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look. I'm sorry. That may be in there.
Probably less than 10, not including Sundays, if I'm counting up like kind
Okay.
of.
I just didn't know if some places close a week at Christmas and maybe
Yeah.
extended Thanksgiving, but I just wondered.
Yeah, so this year we did do that. We closed between
Center.
Christmas and New Year's, which was about 3 days we would normally be open, 4 days we would normally be open, including Saturday.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you.
Wednesday.
It is in
including
here.
Saturday.
yes, 312.
312 open days.
Okay,
we
super.
found it. I'm
And then
sorry.
I think I have the daily, does it say the daily attendance maybe? Somewhere?
Somewhere?
Yeah, I think that's
I
probably.
can find
that's
it
probably
later
what that-
for you.
Oh, yes, I would
Yeah.
think so,
Yeah.
167.
Awesome. Thank you.
Day, does that sound right?
You know, I was trying to contextualize that 52,000.
Oh, into
Yeah.
days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I look at is in 2015, if I look at the total card scans, we had 39,700 some, and in 2018, 52,000. So, now this is the bigger number.
Right.
When we look at the total activity participation, so we've got more people coming to the center, but then we have the people who are coming are also becoming more active and participating in more things. We're also offering more things for them to participate in as well. So you can see that is going up as well. Okay, and moving over to some highlights for transportation. Here's some numbers about the trips with escorts per year, which just means the number of trips. And our escort is the person who helps the driver. And you'll actually notice we had a slight decrease in 2018 from 2017. But when you check out the wheelchair trips per year, so the amount of people who are using our service who are in a wheelchair, and the fact that we have vans to accommodate people in wheelchairs, I think is a great service. And you can see that that is a need in our community that's increasing. Okay, moving over to the Senior Center goals for 2019. If you've not heard, we are going to be hiring a new part-time recreation coordinator. This person will help both the recreation, like general public classes, as well as the Senior Center classes. And then we'd also like to establish 2 more new classes that part-time person will help with. We want to check out our fitness room and fitness equipment, evaluate that, make an assessment of what needs to be replaced in the coming years, and make sure everything is serviced professionally. And then we also have to develop and further develop our volunteer manual, and that MVRMA is our Risk Management Association. That's something they would like to see updated as well.
Sorry, I feel like I'm drilling you tonight.
That's okay.
Did we purchase new fitness center equipment when we opened the new space?
We did purchase a few pieces of
Okay.
equipment.
Most of it was remaining.
Yeah, most of it was
Okay.
remaining, but we did expand the space, so we did have room to buy a little bit more, and with a little bit more room to grow as well. Yeah, free weights were added as well.
You know, it's not important. Go ahead.
Okay, we're going to continue to reorganize that transportation program with the software, and then also finalize our transportation manual that we've been working on with information specific to each separate vehicle, because all of them have a little bit something different about them that the drivers and volunteers need to know. Okay, moving over into our permit summary. This is going into what has been reserved in terms of shelters, rentals at CI Beaver Hall, as well as our ball diamonds and athletic fields for soccer and lacrosse, and the Wortinger Park barn. So you can see our total permits have increased as well for the most part each year. And then to finalize everything up, including our recreation programs, both things that you register for and are non-registered, like our special events and the summer concerts, our permit holders, and our senior center programs, memberships, and transportation trips. We do a participation summary, and you can see the numbers and the increase that we've had in those 4 years that are being reported on. Any additional questions before I pass it over to Zach?
So what do you say you want to increase the usage at CI and Latino Plaza? So what are you guys thinking that to increase the
Well, we
the
know
usage?
we know we have more room to do additional recreation classes that people sign up for, and then we know that there's still a lot of community groups. While it's getting full, there's still a lot of community groups who don't know that they could meet there, and we'd like to see that be as full as possible. So while our evenings are getting booked, there's a lot of daytime and weekend time still available that we can let people know that that's available.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Aaron.
you're welcome.
Welcome, Zach.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, thank you, Aaron, and it's always great to celebrate what we've accomplished the previous year and kind of look forward to what's coming this upcoming year. So a lot went on within Recreation and Senior Center, and just as much is happening in Parks, and I'll share that here with you now. So 2018 was definitely a big year. We installed 2 new playgrounds, one at Gershbacher Park, which is pictured on the right, and also Rotary Park, which was finished up in the fall. There's a few small things left to do at Rotary Park, mainly just get rid of the old playground structure and just tidy up some of the construction mess. We also installed sunshades at Royal Point Park. And then we also contracted with Brandstetter Carroll again to begin work on another 10-year Parks Master Plan. And through the course of the summer, we hosted numerous community involvement events where we got some great feedback from our residents to help shape where parks are headed over the next decade. We oversaw many great volunteer scout projects this summer. The girls here pictured on the right were a group called the Silver Squad, who volunteered many hours to power wash and paint the shelter and swing set at Gershbacher Park. They had a lot of great community involvement. They worked with Sherwin-Williams and Lowe's and a local contractor to help them out. And they had a GoFundMe page on Facebook, and it was really cool to see a group of 8th graders get this involved with their project, and it was very rewarding for both of us. We also had another great Eagle Scout candidate install a metal roof on the shelter at Spicer Heights. And we worked with Greene County Public Library and another Eagle Scout candidate to install a story walk around the pond at Dominic Lafino Park. And this was a very cool project. We were approached by the Greene County Library for this project. They had received donations from the Beavercreek Friends Group to donate all the story walk posts. And right at the same time, I think within a day or two, I was contacted by an Eagle Scout candidate wanting to do a project, and everything just came together. And this has been a very popular addition to Dominic Lafino Park. We also had another Eagle Scout candidate build compost bins at Wardinger Park that fit the theme of that park. They used a lot of rustic barn siding that was just laying around the park and built those compost bins to match the buildings. And finally, we had another Eagle Scout candidate plant 12 shade trees within Gershbacher Park. As you guys probably remember, there were quite a few ash trees that were cut down years ago, and 12 trees is probably not enough there, but it's a start, and we'll continue to add trees there in the future. As Aaron talked earlier, we held our first Arbor Day this past April. We planted 2 oak trees at Dominic Lafino Park and had some great support from the community. And as you see here, we had some members of City Council and the mayor attend to help plant those trees. This fall, we applied for our first Tree City USA designation, and we have received that. We'll get the official award in April this year, but it's our first Tree City USA, so it's hats off to everybody who worked on that. It's a big accomplishment. We implemented a lot of software this year citywide. Implemented new timekeeping software citywide. It was a big learning curve for our staff, but it's certainly helped with efficiency. We issued smartphones and tablets to city staff to go along with work order software that's coming this year. And then we implemented an employee training matrix and training management software to help our employees grow and give them a map to be able to grow professionally within our organization and not just be dead-ended. So there's incentives if they meet service credits and training, they're able to be promoted within the organization. And we gain a great educated workforce. So moving on to goals this year. If you thought 2018 was ambitious, well, 2019 is probably going to blow it out of the water. So we're very fortunate enough to have received a grant last fall through the Ohio Parks and Recreation Association and PlayCorps, and that's a 100% matching grant for playground equipment. So we are able to greatly expand on the playground equipment that we're able to install this year. And we are working with a contractor, DWA, who's a playground contractor, to install all of these projects. So they're going to be busy this spring, weather permitting, to get Seville, Nutter, and Stafford Parks, all new playgrounds, hopefully here by the end of April or early May. If only we could just get the rain to stop. Also, last fall we awarded a contract for new overflow parking at Shoup Park. That parking lot will get started here within the next couple months. You'll have paved parking with curbing in the overflow area. Additionally, we're going to work on crack sealing, seal coating, and relining the parking lot at CI Beaver Hall. Moving on to Beavercreek Station, the roof there is a rubber roofing material that's starting to deteriorate we'll be looking to install a new roof there before we have any major roofing issues where we have to go and start replacing even more stuff, more of the sub-roofing. We'll also be working with the Tree Advisory Board to install signs for tree identification at Fox Run Park and creating walking trails that highlight those trees. This is a huge undertaking as far as that board is concerned, and they've done a great job. We've had a lot of great volunteers come out and help us with that, and I look forward to seeing that one completed sometime this year. Also, and to keep in line with tree planting, our goal is to plant 30 additional trees within our parks this year. Tree planting was taking place in the fall, usually October, November timeframe. We will start planning on that this spring and go to the nursery in the summer, select those trees, and then when it's time to plant them, we will get them delivered and get them planted. And also, we got some landscape design software this spring, this past month, and we're going to be working on creating a design template to go around all the new park signs. So if we get a volunteer group or an organization that wants to help do a project, we'll have a template of the landscaping for around park signs. Moving on, we'll be replacing water fountains at Rotary Park, Beavercreek Station, and the Veterans Memorial. All of these are the older concrete water fountains. We'll be upgrading those to the ones with bottle fill and the doggy bowl. Also replacing ball diamond lighting at Rotary Park. That seems to happen about every 10 years. We're going to look at going LED depending on cost, but LED to upgrade to that is quite pricey. And we also want to coordinate at least 4 volunteer park improvement projects. We always get great volunteers, so if anyone is interested in volunteering, please reach out to the Parks Department. Finally, this first quarter, early second quarter of this year, we'll be completing the 10-year Parks Master Plan. Again, thank you to everybody who's provided us feedback to help guide where parks are going to go over the next 10 years. We're really excited to see where things are headed. And then finally, we're going to work on hosting quarterly staff meetings with an emphasis on team building. Our first park staff meeting will be tomorrow, actually, and we're bringing in parks maintenance, recreation, senior center, cemetery, and then the admin staff all together to just go over what's going on in all of our divisions, keep everybody in the loop. And with a lot of the recent retirements and turnover, it's going to be great to get everybody on the same page and working together. So we're really excited about building a good team and continuing to improve our parks. This past weekend was a seasonal job fair at the golf course where we had almost 80 positions that are open. We had a great turnout. If you were not able to make that, please visit our website or stop in at one of our city locations and you can get an application that can be filled out. We have many positions that are open, including parks maintenance workers, parks intern, sports management intern, camp counselors. And if that's not what you're looking for, there's many other positions within golf and streets, but we know everybody wants to come work for parks. Also, I want to congratulate Kim Farrell, who graduated from Tree Commission Academy just a couple weeks ago. Tree Commission Academy is a great program put on by the Ohio Division of Forestry, where you learn a lot about managing your urban forest. It's a 2-year program. It's broken up into 4 classes, your freshman through senior year. Each grade level is a 2-day class, and Kim has gone through and graduated, so congratulations. And I'm sure I'll be up here on this slide here next year, won't I, Kim? I just completed my sophomore year. If, like Aaron said, we would not be able to put on the events and programs that we do without the help of our sponsors. If that is something that you're interested in to help make a positive impact on our community and our parks, please reach out to Kim or anyone within our parks organization. Again, the number for parks is 427-5514. Our sponsors are a huge help and really support us, and we look forward to those sponsors every year. I'd like to answer any questions if you guys have any. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Good job. All right. I appreciate that report. As usual, I'm always amazed at the amount of production that the staff gets. Given the fact that most recreation staffs are under supported there. I'm excited to see the addition of a part-time recreation person. I know that'll help a lot Any other general comments on the annual report at this point, or questions? No? All right, awesome, thank you. Moves us into old business. First item under old business is volunteer recognition event. The board met earlier tonight to continue to talk about that. What I can report at this point is we do have plans to conduct our annual event on April 18th at the Beavercreek Golf Club, with the doors opening at 6:30 and dinner at 7. Invitations will go out soon. I believe within the next couple of weeks, where we will not only be inviting volunteers that work directly with the Parks Department, but also volunteers that work with some of our partners, as well as asking for nominations for us to award the folks that go in above and beyond to help make our parks some of the best in the area. Anything anybody would like to add about that event at this time? Great. Thank you. And then the next item on old business is volunteer opportunities, and we typically take this time for the staff to share some areas coming up that we could use some help.
We are getting ready for spring. So the next big event that we could use help on is our summer kickoff and kite fly, which is Saturday, April 27th at Dominic Lefino Park from 11 a.m. to 2.
Is that it?
And I'll also, if there's any organization or any volunteers wanting to help out within our park system doing spring cleanup, mulching, please reach out to us, as well as any scout groups or other groups that are looking to do a service project. We get quite a few every year, and there are many projects of all skill levels. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, please reach out to the Parks Department.
And Zach, I appreciate that comment. I, for one, a number of times have asked, like with 24 hours notice, if there's anything my church group can do. And Zach and the staff have always been great to help give us that opportunity to clean up or just improve a park. So thank you. Then that moves us into new business, and we have on our agenda just an update on the upcoming park levy.
Good evening. I finally get to talk. So last month, council decided to move forward with a park levy. Our levy cycle ends the end of this year, the end of 2019. And again, a good portion of all our operating is through the park levy. We get a little bit from the general fund, but basically everything, Parks, Recreation, Senior Center is funded through this levy. So we'll be on the ballot on May 7th of this year, and it's going to be a renewal plus an increase. So right now we're at a 0.9, and we are asking for a 0.3 increase. The reason for this is if nobody's not really sure, but Rotary Park, the finances has been split with Beavercreek Township. So the park is actually Beavercreek Township's. The city operates and maintains it, so we split the cost. So in 2020, when this levy is successful, we'll be taking 100% of the operations, so we need to make up for that downfall. Another portion is just basically cost of living, and then when we passed the levy back in 14, it was council's desire to have our budget as we have a 15% fund balance, so then that way if anything would go wrong, we always had that money. But a few years ago, they decided to go with a 20% fund balance. So we've always been trying to, I don't want to say play catch up, but make sure that we have a 20% fund balance. So we can't maintain the 0.9 and with all those factors. So we'll be doing some additional, asking for an additional, but then we will still continue doing our park improvements. So we're following along with the theme that we've always had, is taking care of what we have, not going extravagant, but again, replacing the playgrounds that need to be done. We're hearing that people love the trail system, but so working on some more trails throughout our parks, throughout the community. But we're hoping this master plan actually leads us in that direction. So we'll certainly have more information each meeting, just kind of say, hey, here's how it's going, but just want to give everybody heads up that we're going to be on the ballot. And just as a side note, so it'll be our Parks Department, and then also the Beavercreek Streets will be on the ballot. This is their capital levy. So, and it will be a continuous. So both of those will be continuous. So.
Any questions on the levy? Dan?
What is the actual funding between the 15% and the 20%?
What does that mean in dollars? Is that
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you're asking?
Oh, I don't know at this point, but I can get you that
Your
number.
ballpark number, be interesting.
Okay, yeah, if I can get that for you.
Okay, thank you.
And that fund balance, is that basically reserve? Is that
Yes.
what you mean by that?
Yep, yep, so if something, like if we had to replace something and it's not in our operating budget, we have that fund balance.
Emergency fund.
Yep,
rainy
and I
day.
think it would get us through like maybe half a year.
Cool. If folks have, I got a couple questions. One, so the levy, when it's approved, would start when? Do you know?
We would start collecting, it would be for January of 2020.
Okay. Is the fiscal year for the Parks Department a calendar year?
Yes.
Okay. And then, how long, is it a 4-year levy typically before renewal?
We've been doing 5-year,
Okay,
but we're
good.
going to ask for continuous.
Oh, you said that, I wanted to confirm that's what you
Sure.
meant. So would mean that would not require a renewal at any point?
Now, at some point, we may decide that's like, hey, we want to do some additional park improvements.
Right.
And so we might
You
do
may-
something different.
Okay, and that's what I wondered, in thinking of timing with the master plan going on. Obviously that master plan could say, hey, the community wants to see X, Y, and Z, and it's probably not going to fit into this current budget, right? So I was wondering without the renewal.
Sure.
Yeah,
So whatever.
That could be a conversation for another time. It just
Yeah.
interests me.
Yep, the projects that we are doing this year, we have already, this finalizes our 5-year
Right.
commitment.
Gotcha. Which has been, I think, been fantastic, by the way. I think that.
Thank you.
I hope the community agrees that it's been worth every penny of it. The work that you all have done with the rest of the folks in the area to follow that plan, to be accountable for that, and be very public in how you've gone about doing that, I think is a testament to you guys. I did have, where would people, is there somewhere some folks can go if they have questions about the levy or call?
Right now, call our office,
Okay.
the Parks office, the 427-5514. We'll be starting to put out information. It'll be on our website, on Facebook. We'll be sending mailers out. But if anybody has questions, they're more than welcome to call our office. And I will say, because I think one of the big questions is the golf course is not under this levy.
Okay.
They're their own separate fund, their own separate entity. So this would still cover park services, recreation programs, and the senior center.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Having no unscheduled visitors tonight, we will move on to action items. And correct me if I'm wrong, we've got a few that related to the volunteer recognition event. I will get notes typed up and we'll get them out to you by Friday. We've assigned some tasks, the only ones that require, well, obviously staff will be doing some things with invitations and that kind of thing, but then Candy and Sharon are going to go ahead and finalize food, or at least get some more information on food. And at some point, Dan will be working on the gift cards. We've got a little time on that. So anything else, action items that I'm forgetting? No. I would recommend that we maybe, I don't think we'll need as much time at our next meeting, maybe at 6:30. So we can kind of do a half-hour updates. There shouldn't be as much since most of the crucial decisions were made tonight. That sound okay?
Yep.
All right, which takes us to board time. Dan, would you like to start? Do you have anything?
I don't have anything additional.
Okay. Candy?
I just have a few things from Owens Place. Saturday, April 13th will be the Special Needs Children and Their Families Easter egg hunt at Owens Place. It starts at 11 o'clock. They usually have extra games and food and things there for those families, but it is special needs children. The musical instruments that I talked about last month, we're waiting for better weather. So hopefully by April, the weather will be good enough for those to be installed. Kind of the same thing with the restrooms. There's a few little things that have to be worked out code-wise. But those restrooms will have, there's 2 of them, and they both will have adult-size changing tables. to ADA specifications, so those will be ready hopefully in April as well. And then the special needs baseball and kickball registration is now up. And probably the easiest way to get to it is to go to the Owens Place website and click on the menu, and at the bottom of the menu, it'll say soft or baseball and kickball. Click on that, and that will take you over to the Blue Sombrero. I believe it's, yes, Blue Sombrero for your sign up, and you sign up online. And it also has on the website an email address that you can email if you have questions about the program as well. And one other thing that's going in that I didn't talk about last time, and maybe Kim, you talked to Bob Darden about it, there's going to be slides on the hill. And so we're still working on trying to get an artificial surface so that when the kids roll down the hill, they're not wearing out the grass. So once that's decided, the slides are here, and it's the cost of getting them in. And so once that's all together, and again, that's a spring thing based on weather. So other than that, thanks for the update on the annual report. It was good.
And that's what I was going to say. You guys did a great job on the annual report. When you look back over the year and realize all that you were able to accomplish, it's just mind-blowing. So thank you.
Christina?
I wanted to thank you guys for all of the work that the department does on the trail system in Beavercreek. CI Beaver Hall is kind of park is our neighborhood park, so we're over in those woods constantly, even throughout the winter. And my 3-year-old, we were just in there, over the weekend splashing in the creek, and it's always in excellent condition. And I just wanted to thank you for all of that hard work, because I know that's not easy, but having, knowing that we're not going to come upon anything, questionable in that park is always nice. So thank you.
All right, I don't have anything to add. I think everything's been said, so I appreciate everything you do. And with that, I would take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.